Secondary kennel. Stop. No. Come here. Come here. Come here. Lay down. Lay down. Hey. Lay down. Stay. Kona! No. What's up, guys? Jacob Owens here. Welcome to this tutorial. I want to try something different now moving forward with a lot of the videos I do, creating these kind of in-depth editing tutorials showing how I edit certain videos, the effects I use, the sound effects, how I edited them, how I pieced them together, colored them, the different things I used and whatnot, and kind of do these cool tutorials for videos that you guys want to see. I've been getting a ton of recommendations of this Dizzy video asking for tutorials, so I want to do these tutorials for you guys. So yeah, I just kind of gonna get into everything here. Of how I did this video, edited it, my process. Yeah, let's get right into it. So first off, you can see the intro here before the video starts and the song starts. I wanted to create kind of a super vibey intro for the video before the music kicks in. And right here you can see my video layer down here, which is I have layers of audio and sound, which I'm going to talk about. And where to get some of the best sound effects. And these sound effects in particular, the majority of them are from a place called Boom Library. They have some really high quality professional sounds. It is on the more expensive side for sure, but they make really good sound effects, and these sounds are from their cinematic trailer package, their cinematic trailer sound effects. So we have a lot of boom sounds. They have a lot of whooshes, different like static sound effects and whatnot, and so that's pretty much all you see here, what I layered in with the video clips. Now, as far as some of the video overlays that I have to go with it, I have some Tropic Color light leaks, which you can see right here. It says light leaks, and this clip by itself is right here. You can see this little light leak. You simply just take these light leaks and you can overlay them on your footage. And I did that throughout this Dizzy video, and it's super easy. All you do is when you come to the effects tab, so you lay in, so say here's the light leak right here, right? Pick one out. We'll pick this one. I'm going to pick an in point and an out point. We'll just pick that. And when I lay it over top, I simply take that layer or that clip, and I'm going to change the opacity. So I'm going to come to the opacity blend mode, and I'm going to change the blend to screen, and that's going to overlay that flare or that light leak or that light effect onto the clip. Give it a second here to load. There's a lot of stuff going on in this timeline, so it's kind of slow. I apologize. So now it's overlaid on the footage, and that is what I did throughout the video, just overlaying different light leaks. You can kind of see it right here, a little bit of a light leak right there coming in, and playing with light leaks are a good way to add some style and flair, if you will, to your projects. As well, here I have VHS noise overlay and VHS glitch. These are also from Tropic Color. Again, anything in this video, sound effects, companies, these products, I will link in the description of this video. So make sure to check out the description of the video if you want to find these particular products or companies. So yeah, right here I have a simple noise overlay, and you can see the noise overlay here, VHS, the VHS glitch as well. You can see kind of the glitch happening. Let me see if I can find it better. Here we go. Here's a title overlay. I didn't use that, but here's one of the glitches. Another VHS glitch. Some noise overlays, VHS noise overlays. And same thing, you would lay this in over your footage or your particular clip, and you just change the blend mode, the opacity. So you can see here, Again, VHS clip, glitch, VHS glitch. I overlaid that on some of the VHS footage I shot, which is actually, let's go to the clip here. Here's a shot here. So I shot with a VHS Handycam. That was in part on purpose because I wanted a classic kind of retro vibe and look and something really different to incorporate with all the red footage we had going on. I'm going to take off this color real quick, by the way, just so it runs a little bit smoother. There's a lot of effects over the video, which I will get into what effects I used. But I'm going to take those off so that the edit runs a little smoother right now. Cool. So you can see red footage here, and then I paired that red footage throughout the video with some classic VHS looks. And while we were shooting, I had the red camera running, and I had someone off camera completely running B-roll with the VHS Handycam. And again, you can see that footage kind of here. There's a whole slew of it throughout the whole day of shooting. And this footage, complements the red footage really well. It gives a nice little B-roll effect. And I don't have to, basically, because it's all in camera and it's actually a VHS camera, I'm not having to add effects to it to make it try and look like VHS. It's naturally VHS look. But I did add some glitches, as you can see right here, over the VHS footage to glitch it out even more. But you can see clearly all the footage right here. And I chopped all that footage in and around the edit. We pretty much ran over an hour of VHS footage, just for a cool, unique, stylistic look. A lot of people were asking why I was shooting with that, and just the reason I wanted to was a stylistic choice. So again, right here, you can see another light leak coming in the top right there. If I delete that, you can see it go away. So light leaks can help, just kind of adds a little bit of flair and style to your project. But yeah, as far as like this intro goes, I started it off with a boom sound, I think, from yeah, right here. This is Boom Library, one of their cinematic sounds. Started with that. The clip comes in, and then once I basically throw this clip overlaying on top of it, this B-roll shot I got. Let's see here. You can see the B-roll shot here that I got on set of the sign. And then to blend that with this shot, you can see that it's kind of overlaying it. I just, again, like you would the different light leaks and stuff, I chose a lighten blend mode just to layer it over top, give it a cool little effect. I added some VHS glitch. You can see the glitch right there, the noise overlay, the glitch from Tropicolor, laid that over top, and then I paired that with this sound. It's like a neon sign sound. That's to pair the neon sign sound with these neon sign looks, and then there's this sound effect. And that is paired right underneath all this chaos, and that's what gives the intro that cool kind of edit, look and effect, is pairing sounds with the images and just stylistically editing and chopping it down. So that looks a little bit like this. So that's important when you're editing. Sound enhances your visuals, and always edit the visual to the sound and vice versa. Whatever your video visual is, choose sounds to pair with that visual to enhance that visual and vice versa. So you can see the whole intro is just full of different sounds, layers, and different things like that. Let's see if I can find another cool little example in here. So right here, there's like a cool little ramp up right here. So I have this clip, and then I ramp up the clip right here. I split it, and then I changed the speed to 200%, so it kind of ramps up. And then I have it ramp up again. The next clip, I cut it a little further forward. This is 200%, and then I cut it to go back to its normal speed at 100% right here. So kind of normal, speed up, and slow back down. But on top of that, one of the effects that I added to it, which I use heavily through a lot of my videos to give it this kind of flashy look, where it's like getting brighter and it flashes up and down, is levels. So I use this heavy. If you come to the effects tab, you you go to levels, you type in levels, and you attach, boom, levels to a clip. Then you can keyframe the levels of the clip to kind of flash in and out. So for here, I started here, I moved over a few frames, I made another keyframe, and I played with the white input level. And the white input level is what's gonna give you that brightness, that flash. It's gonna affect the whites of the image. So I took it from 255 to about 120, and then I move over a few more clips right there, and I brought it back down so it flashes up and down. And then same thing with the next clip. I just added another levels clip, keyframed 2 movements, and they kind of get this cool flash, transition, and then with that, a transition sound to enhance it. So that's kind of that ramp up sound, that pair that underneath that visual of ramping up, ramping down with the flash, and you get that cool look and that cool edit. So again, sound, super important. And this is really just organized chaos. There's no right or wrong way. It's just chopping up clips, changing the speeds, adding flashes, and adding sound effects to enhance those cuts that you make. So again, there's no right or wrong way. You just got to play with it. It's a little bit of organized chaos. As you can see, it's kind of chaotic here, but there's no like, this is how you have to edit it. This is how you have to do it. You just gotta kind of play with it, play with the sounds, play with the edits, and use different effects like the flashing levels that I often use. And I think I use it right here too. So coming out of this clip right here, there's a moment where the clip, I have the sound effect. I think it's this one. No, this one. Where is it at? Here it is. So it's kind of like this, I don't know what you would call this, a transition, heavy transition. And then to pair that, I have the flash up and then flash out as the sound happens. So again, playing with the sounds, this is levels. I use levels often, not only as an effect to play with keyframes and flash up and down and change that kind of like that, almost like a flicker effect, but I also use it to color, which I will get in, not necessarily color, but I use it in my color grade to change the levels of an image, which I will get into in a little bit. I always do my coloring on an adjustment layer so that everything below the adjustment layer is colored. I don't know how much you guys know about adjustment layers, but by laying in an adjustment layer, anything that you attach effect-wise to this adjustment layer will affect everything below it. So everything below this adjustment layer will be affected by whatever you put on it. So I'll put, as you can see, if I click on my adjustment layer, I have a color, 2 different colors, levels, sharpen, and a little bit of magic bullet effects on there, which I'll get into which ones I used for that as well. So all that is attached to my adjustment layer, and so now all the clips below that adjustment layer are being affected by those effects, and that's what I do for color, and I'll get into that as well. Titles, the titles were simply created in here, just graphics, super simple. Not going to get too much into that, but again, let's go through the edit. So for editing a music video, always editing a music video, and in particular this one, but just in general, I always start with my performance takes. So I'll go in and I go one by one, just starting to edit my performance takes. So I'll lay in the first performance take and I'll start chopping out all the good and the bad moments. So I'll chop, 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 and I'll start cutting away at all the bad moments, leaving only the good ones. Then I lay down the next performance take, and same thing, I'd find all the best moments, and then I take those and drag them down. And so basically I just keep adding performance take after performance take after performance take until I have one giant timeline just full of a performance takes music video. So the whole entire video, after I'm done editing all the performance takes, I'll just go one by one. So if I were to go to my clips, here's my clips over here. Let me find the first one here. So here's my first performance take, right? Dizzy here. I'll lay that in the timeline, sync it up. I'll go through and cut out all the best moments. Then I'll come over here and lay down the next performance take, sync it up, cut out all the good moments, cut out all the bad moments, take the next performance take. And I don't put any of the B-roll in to start. I go through and use, like I said, all my performance takes, only cut performance takes. It'll be one big performance music video. Then I start to go back in and piece in the B-roll. Wherever it's like, oh, it's getting a little stale here, there's too much performance, B-roll. Too much performance, too stale, it's been too long, B-roll, B-roll. And I'll start adding B-roll clips. Now, what I'll also do as I go through, say I'm editing over here and I got a performance take right here, and then next thing you know, this next clip's a B-roll clip. I'm not gonna just skip it. What I typically might do, what I typically do is I'll just look through the B-roll clip and I'll cut out, say this is a B-roll clip, it's not, but let me just find one to help you guys out here. All right, so here's a B-roll clip. So as I'm going through and I'm laying in the performance takes, doing a performance take, and I come across a B-roll take, I typically, as I go, will then, let me move this over here. I'll typically go in and just watch it and start cutting out the good moments so I don't have to come back to it. So I might be like, oh, that's a good moment, in, out point, and I'll set it off to the side. Then keep going, I'll scroll through. I'll watch the whole clip through and I'll be like, oh, okay, I like this moment. In point, out point. Then I'll put that, save it off to the side. So by the end of my video, after I've had all these performance takes and I have one big performance music video, I'll typically have a whole slew of just my favorite B-roll takes that I can then go in and start just piecing in and dropping in. That's how I like to do it. Again, there's no right or wrong way. That's just my personal preference. So I'll have all performance music video, and then like I said, I'll have my favorite B-roll shots of the shots that I think were the best B-roll shots, the best angles and takes of those, and I'll just start going in and piecing them in where I think they best fit. Now, if you have a story for your music video, it's a little different. You want to start piecing the story together, B-roll throughout. But I still do the same thing. Even if there's a narrative story that's happening with the B-roll, I always save the B-roll for last and start placing. I create the music video portion of the performances, and then I start creating the B-roll story after, and filling in those gaps and placing those where I want to. Because wherever I don't place a B-roll clip, there will now be a performance take below it instead of a blank spot. So it's kind of like filling in the gaps. So now, like, I start building my story, and say I have all these B-roll clips that take up this space right here, right? Well, now when that clip ends, I have something already here performance-wise, and then I can lay in my next B-roll clip. And so it's like it just automatically, the gaps are filled in, and you're not having to basically find performances to fill these little gaps. If you were to go in and build your whole B-roll music video first, the narrative, the B-roll, you add all that, and then you try and go in and fill in these little gaps with the correct performance take, it's going to take you so much more time and be way more just like nitpicky, because now you're going to have to go in and be like, oh, I have to find this exact lyric from a certain take, and you start going through all your takes to find the best, the best shot of that best take of that best lyric. But if you had already edited the music video, if you already edited the lyrics in the performance video below, it's already there. You don't have to go back and do it. So that's why B-roll always comes last for me, and performance will always go first. So that's my tip of how I edit very quickly and how I do things and how I did this video. So moving forward, let's watch a little bit and see what comes up, and then I'll talk about it. So this is all VHS clips. Then when the beat comes in, I use the first red shot here, introducing Dizzy here. More VHS, and then boom. Hit him with the bow, drop back. So you can see right here, again, going along with the sounds and the music, the sound here is kind of like ramping up before the beat drops. Hit him with the. So I sped up this clip, and I used again what? levels, and you can see the levels. That's not happening in camera. That's me making keyframes with the levels. You can see them right here, just making a simple keyframe and then changing the white input level so that it flashes up and down.
Hit him with the pose, drop back version. I like that. Yoga beam, might make your knees touch your chin. Hit him with the pose, let it begin, work.
And again, going with the lyrics of your song, if there's certain things, he's saying hit him with the pose. So when he says hit him with the pose, I use a B-roll shot of them doing a yoga pose. So think critically when you're editing, like, you know, visuals need to line up with the lyrics and the music. So he's saying hit him with the pose, I use a B-roll clip where they're all hitting a pose.
Let it begin, work. Drop back.
So there's another light leak. Just simply overlaid it right here. I use the screen mode, so if I were to take it off screen, you'll be able to see it right there. That is the light leak, number 28 light leak from the Light Leaks version 2 pack. Simply took that, laid it in. All I do is come here, blend mode again, screen. Boom.
Begin, work. Drop back version.
Just adds a little extra flair and color and
Drop
fun.
back version. I like that. Yoga beam, make your knees touch your chin. Hit him with the pose.
Again, hit him with the pose. B-roll shot, hitting with the pose.
Let it begin, work. Clock ticket. She fuck with yoga and I rock with it. Ooh, stretch for me then. Ooh, it wasn't with it, not it.
Again, I mean, it sounds dumb for me to say, but a lot of people don't think about it like this. Like, now he's saying stretch for me, so obviously I'm going to use a clip where it's stretch. A lot of people miss out on just little cues like that, so don't miss that out when you're editing yourself.
Stretch for me then. Ooh, it wasn't with it, not it rocking with the kid. You got
another light leak.
it wasn't with it, not it rocking with the kid.
So again, just keyframe or blend mode. Sorry, if I were to take it away, there it is. If I add it, screen, blend mode, boom, you can see it.
It wasn't with it, now they rockin' with the kid. You got that workout body, you in shape. I am not easily impressed. Dress hooking on to that ass, like why you even get dressed? Oh.
Another light leak. And so here you go, levels again. I use levels heavy in a lot of my videos, but right here on the woo.
I can't even get dressed. Oh.
So he says woo. That sounds funny me saying that, but I keyframe it right on target. So as soon as he says it, it brightens up and comes back down.
Okay,
you know what I mean? And then when that beat comes back in, boom, cut on the beat. Always cut on the beat.
Dress hooking on to that ass, like why you even get dressed? Okay.
So again, light leak I added to it, but also keyframing, simple. Right here, hit the one keyframe, then I go over a few. Then I'm gonna take it from the 255, I'm gonna take it down to, we'll even do 100 in this case, or 108. Then another couple keyframes over, send that back up to 255, so now you get the flash.
That's like, why you even get dressed? Okay, let me play. Why you even get dressed? Okay, let me play with it.
And so this is another thing that I do really heavily in videos. I did it a lot in Kyle's Really Really Yeah video and a couple other videos where there's a lot of high energy and like really deep bass hits or drum hits, is like a digital punch. And I do it right here. And so I have this cool handheld movement and I'll do this digital punch that just really adds to it. So the beat drops and I keyframe in and then zoom out. Then when the beat hits again, see it punch back in, punch back out. And it just creates this energy. I'll show you in a second here again, but just try and notice it.
Play with it, play with it, play with it, play with it.
Can you see that? That boom, punch in, punch out, right on the beat, really adds to it. It's a simple effect. All you have to do is keyframe the motion and that's it. So right here, come to this clip. I got my keyframe right here. I go a couple clips over, 2 frames over. I have it zoom, so here's where it was. I had it zoom in to about 160. Then I keyframe back out, zoom back out. And then when the next beat comes in, like about 1 or 2 frames before the beat comes in, make another keyframe, which I got right here. Go over 2 frames to where the beat hits. We'll go to 170. and then a few more frames over, zooming back out, resetting it back to 100, its normal, normal size, and now you have.
Okay, let me play with it, play with it. Let me play with it, play with it. Let me play with it.
Simple effect, but you can see how it just, comes together with the music. It just correlates so well, and just something so simple enhances the visual, enhances the song, or the song enhances the visual, vice versa. So, simple effects you can do. Keyframes are important for any sort of effect, whether it's a flash or, motion punch like that. Again, here, this is all handheld movement from me when I was shooting, and I timed it up with the little, I don't know if it's a synth. It's not a synth, but something in the background, the dun dun dun, and I have her punching on the beat. Little things like that are important when you're editing a video. So you can hear it, punch, punch. So if you watch it closely, so you can see little things like that in an edit matter. Attention to detail. Listen to the song, listen to the music, and time up your visuals and effects to the song and the music. Same thing here. The big beat, I have her throw a punch. And if I wanted to, I could even enhance that even more with what I said, a scale punch, remember? So we'll go here, scale punch, go here, and then make another keyframe. We're going to zoom in on that, right on the glove, go a couple frames over, make another keyframe, and back to the original size. So now let's see what that looks like. See, it just adds that boom, that punch to it. And then right here on that dun dun dun, I simply freeze framed each one. So when that beat hits, that ding, I took this clip right here and I simply did a clip, video options, frame hold. That'll create a freeze frame. I let it run for like 2 frames, 3 frames, and then I let the clip play through again. And then I freeze frame on the next beat, that little dun, did a freeze frame, put it up top, same thing, freeze frame, put it up top, let the clip continue to run. So it kind of does this freeze frame glitch effect. Right on the beat, right on those dun dun duns. And then to enhance it a little bit more, I used a Magic Bullet Universe plugin that kind of adds a slight bit of glitch. Nothing too crazy. It was just, I think it's called, Universe Glitch. Just very small glitches. You can see them right here, right here. I could have made it a little more intense, but something small just to add a little extra effect to it. But so if you ever want to make a freeze frame hold, that's how you make a freeze frame hold. You do clip, you hold on the clip wherever you want to be. Say it's right there, that's where I want the freeze frame. You go to clip, video options, add frame hold. That'll create literally a straight freeze frame. So yep, that's how I did that effect. More light leaks. Again, punch to the beat. Another light leak. As he fades away, I fade it out. So I could have even done a digital punch right there. Let's just try it, see how it looks. So we'll go 1 or 2 clips or frames before. There's the beat. It's 2 frames. Make another keyframe. Move 3 over. And on that middle one, we'll punch into about, try like 150. Nothing too crazy. See how it looks. So yeah, it's a little quick, but it works. Self-determined, bitch, don't ask if that's my queen, it is, but check. I'm about to work her out, fuck her every day. Never MIA, on my way. When you hit my line, now we on my way. Execute, you make me look good when I stand next to you. A1 fit, this
It's that day one shit.
And again, not a lot of crazy edits going on here because there's not happening much with the music, and it kind of slows down and gets calm. So the edits get a little more calm before the chorus comes in right over here. Once the chorus comes back in, we get a little crazy.
Work like this. Hit him with the pose.
And then again, right here, this sound
Like this. Hit him with
sounds like it's ramping down or ramping up.
hit him with
So I have this shot that I sped up, VHS clip. Let me see what I sped it up to. Command J, check the speed, 150%, and I have it come to them landing right when the sound kind of ends, and then the beat drops.
hit him with hit him with hit him with hit him with the pose. Drop back.
Hit them with the pose, shot of them with the pose, then the do, boxing gloves, hitting the bag.
Hit him with the pose. Drop back version. I like that. Yoga beam. Make your knees touch your chin. Hit him with the pose. Let it begin. Work. Drop.
And this is an effect I did like once or twice in here. I use it more often on the Kyle Really Yeah and a couple other videos, but the hue change, this is something I do pretty often. I didn't really do it in this video that much, but I'll just show you. So if you come over to the effects tab and you go HLS, you color balance HLS right here, and you throw it onto the clip. This is something I like to do, and I'll do a keyframe where I change the hues. So made a keyframe, made another keyframe, and then you change the hue, and you just drag up and it'll change the hues, and now it runs through that series of colors. So you can see it, changing. But since this video wasn't too colorful, I didn't really use it that much, but I use this effect heavily on colorful videos because it changes the hues of the colors and looks really cool. And it's that simple. You just add like a keyframe or two, and you just literally make a keyframe, make another one, and you let it change the hue and then cycle back through, and that's it.
Let it begin. Work. Drop back version. I like that.
Again, he says drop back, throw a shot of them dropping back, inversion, shot of them doing an inversion.
Yoga beam.
Same thing here, I did a little freeze frame.
Yoga beam.
You can kind of see that there.
Beam. Your knees touch your chin. Hit him with the pose. Let it begin. Work. Drop back. Drop back. I like that. Yoga beam. Girl, goddamn. Drop back. Drop back. I like that. Yoga beam. Girl, goddamn. Drop back.
So this is one cool effect I'll show you right here as well. So this effect, just wanted to try something a little different here. So it's him coming forward. So what I did is I took that clip and let me move it off to the side. I duplicated it. Just Option, drag it up, let go, duplicates the clip. And what I did for this clip is I then cropped it. So I went over here to the effects, crop, and I cropped out the sides right here. So if I take it away and take off the blend mode, take the opacity back all the way up. So I duplicated this clip and I brought it into about 150%, so you can see it's a lot closer. Same clip, it's directly duplicated, so if I delete, it's just a more zoomed in clip. And then all I simply did is I created a keyframe on the movement of his hands. And so I went from 0 to when he hits that movement to 100%. And then I simply change the blend mode so you can kind of see it. See both, right? Actually, I think I did lighten. Let me go back to lighten. Yep, lighten. So now we have this overlaying kind of layer here where he's zoomed in a little more, but then you have to crop it. So I threw on the crop effect, and then I cropped to the left, which brought it in over here. Then I cropped it to the right, because right now it looks messy. So you need to crop out all this extra junk and just have him cropped out. So once I apply that crop that I did, you can see it gets rid of all that extra stuff and just crops him. And then you want to add that edge blur, because if you don't add an edge blur, it just kind of gives a hard line. So just play with the edge blur right here until you find like a good little layer, and then that's it. Hold on real quick, it's going, what did I do different here? Oh, there we go. I'm on the wrong. I accidentally made 2 keyframes here, trying to show you guys. Let me delete this one. Cut. There we go. All right, so keyframe. We want it to come from nowhere and all of a sudden show up. So we go from, again, 0 to 100. So all of a sudden, it fades in and gets bigger. Super easy, super simple. So just thinking critically like that when editing.
Yo, man, I might make your knees touch your chin. With the pose, let it begin. Drop that so high, get contact.
Kona! Sorry guys about my dog. Kona, come here. Relax. So going forward with editing, that's pretty much all the effects and everything I've done in this video. So now I kind of get into color, because for Jazz's video or part here in the verse, I really didn't do much anything different editing wise. It's all the same kind of effects, the digital punches, the light flashes, the speed ramps, same kind of thing here, the overlaying the different light leaks and light filters and different things like that. And so basically now I just kind of want to get into color with you guys and show you guys how I color and how I colored this video and the different effects I used on it. So again, like I said, now you're going to throw in your adjustment layer. The adjustment layer is where I do all my coloring. You can then go back in and adjust certain clips if you want to color certain clips a little more directly, but the adjustment layer makes sure that all your clips below have the same color grade attached to them. You want an even, consistent color grade with your adjustment layer. So the first thing I did is I came to the effects, came into the lumetric color, and I'm going to go down the color correction and drag on the lumetric color. So the first one is right here. I'm going to apply that just so you can see the like kind of before and after. Give it a second here. So there is before, the raw red footage, and after. Before, after. Now I'll go into what is actually on this lumetric clip. So basic correction, I took the shadows down to a -52. I wanted the shadows to be slightly more dark and crushed. So if I were to take this to a 0 or reset this, you can see, give it a second, there's without the shadows, zeroed out. I took them personally to a -50 because I wanted it to have a slightly darker, moodier vibe to the video. So it took those down to -50, and I also took the blacks down to a -50. So if I were to reset that to 0, you'll see what that looks like without the blacks. So right there, they're zeroed out. I took those to a -50 as well. Again, was going for an initial darker, moodier vibe, not too flat. I boosted the saturation slightly just to give it a little bit of color, because we shot in a flat profile. And the first this first lumetric color effect that I added, the look that I used, or the LUT, I always apply my LUTs in the creative tab. So if you go to apply LUT, what you do is, this is how I do it. You apply the lumetric color, and when you go to choose your LUT, don't apply it right here in the basic correction, because you can't change the intensity of the LUT. It's baked in. So if you come down to the creative tab, you can pick your LUT. In this case, I just literally picked the first one by Adobe right here. This is an Adobe LUT, a Fuji 250D LUT. I clicked on that, and then I changed the intensity to 75. So I lessened the intensity of it a little bit. So if I were to reset this, you'll see it at 100% strength. Give it a second. There's at 100. It was a little too strong and contrasty for me. I wanted to leave myself a little room, so I took it down to 75%. And that is it for the first part of the color. I always do a bunch of different kind of layers and layer in different looks. For the second lumetric color, I added another lumetric color, so I have different ones with different effects added to them. The second one, you'll see me right now, it's toggled off. I'll toggle it on for you guys. Give it a second. Come on, there we go. So you can see off, on, off, on. So before right now I had too much of a greenish kind of tint and vibe for me, so I wanted to take that to a little bit of a cooler place and also add more of a vignette to the whole image to draw your attention to the center more. So this second lumetri color is actually mainly just the shadows in the color wheels that I played with, as well as a vignette. So if you come down, so you can see in the basic correction, I didn't do anything. I left my basic correction to this first lumetri color. But then I came down in creative tab as well, didn't do anything. I didn't apply another LUT. But now with this lumetri color layer, I came into the color wheels, and I took my shadows a little more to the blue. I wanted to cool it off a little bit, give the shadows a little bit more of a blue look. I personally like when my shadows have more of a blue tint or feel. So I literally just took this. Here, let me reset it actually. So if we reset the color wheel, give it a second, let it load. Boom, you can see now it's like more green. So the more I drag it to the blue, I'm just gonna do a heavy drag right here real quick so you guys can see the change. Give it a second. There we go. So you can see now that's like really blue. So I kind of found a happy little medium somewhere in between there and the original green. So I just took this here, dragged it towards the blues a little bit, but not too far, but enough to where I got the little bit of the blue look in my shadows that I was looking for. From there, after I got that dialed in and right, this is where I added my vignette. So I came down to vignette right here under the lumetri, the same lumetri color still, vignette. I took it to a -1. I changed the midpoints. The midpoints usually come at 50 right here. I took it to a 25. Let me see if I can show you what that looks like. Let me take off this color up here so it moves a little quicker. So midpoint, if I were to take the feather all the way down, so there's no feathering because you're gonna want to feather your image. The midpoint is gonna be changed like this. So if I take it to 75, you'll see the midpoint change. Back to 0. So it's gonna be basically how tight in the middle your vignette is. 50 is standard, what it comes with when you start playing with the vignette. I took it down to a 25, so it was not as tight here because there's 0 and then 25. Kind of a nice little happy medium there. The vignette amount is -1. If I were to reset that to show you guys what that looks like, 0, no vignette. Let's go down to a -1. So we have our vignette. Now obviously that looks ugly, but I also wanted to round it out a little bit, so I took it from 0 to 25 so it wasn't as oval shaped. Give it a little more of a round vibe. You'll see it change here. There we go. A little more round, a little more spotlight kind of look. And then you feather it out so you don't have these obviously ugly hard edges. Feathered it almost 100% to 90. And then you'll see that change in a second. It'll feather that, keep it all soft. And now you have this nice, soft, focused vignette that looks really good. So let's see if I can toggle it on and off for you guys. So there is, give it a second. Off, on, off, on. Just draws your eyes to the middle a little bit more. I'll attach the first color back on it. Boom. Color game looking strong. Next, levels. I always apply levels to finalize my color as well. So with levels, the 3 main levels you're gonna play with are these top 3, the black, the white, and the black. And so let me see if I dry these out for you. Black input, white input, black output. So the higher you drag this number right here, the black input, the more it's gonna crush those blacks. So if I drag that way up, you'll see it here, change in a second. So you can see that, crush the blacks. It's not what we're going for. We're looking to crush them a little bit, but not too much. So we'll leave it at an 8. Give it a second to load here. Boom, good. The white input, like I said before when I was showing you guys this levels effect to create the flash, is just the brightness of those whites. So typically it sits at 255, and you'll see it kind of change, go back a little dimmer. I wanted the lights and the whites to really pop, not to be as flat. So I just took it to like a 235. Just gives those whites an extra little boom, little burst, little pop. And then the black output level, the higher you drag this number, the more flat the blacks you're gonna get. So it's gonna look flat. So if I drag this to 0, you'll see it kind of, the blacks get crushed a little bit. You won't have this flat look. Let it settle in here. So boom, you can see that. Now if I were to drag it to 50, you'll see it get this very washed out flat look. And that's how you can add a little bit of a fade to your video. It's kind of like a little film fade. There you can see the fade. So I wanted a little bit of a fade to kind of give it that retro vibe, nothing too much. So we'll put it at 20. Give it a nice, soft, subtle fade, nothing too aggressive, nothing too over the top. Boom, good. After that, I sharpened it barely, just a hair. 5, added sharpening from the effects, just took it to 5. Just very, very small. And then the last thing I added was a Cosmo effect from Magic Bullet. So if I were to come into Magic Bullet, I have a Magic Bullet plugin, and typically all I like to use for Magic Bullet is their Cosmo, a couple other things, but I just used under the subject Cosmo and added that on and took it to Skin Soften, like 15, Skin Squeeze 10, just very subtle, nothing too crazy. And what that basically does is kind of softens. It's like a beauty filter for skin. So just attach that to the adjustment layer so that everyone's skin, especially the girls, it softened it a little bit. It didn't look as hard and edgy. It just kind of give it more of a soft beauty glow and look to the people, to everyone's skin. And that's it right there. That you can see all those color effects. That is the color and different effects attached to this adjustment layer. And everything below that adjustment layer is affected. You can see all these clips up here over the adjustment layer. Those are my lens filters, or the light leaks. I didn't want those to be affected by this adjustment layer. I didn't want them to be colored like I didn't want them affected by the adjustment layer. With all those effects I have on the adjustment layer, I didn't want those light leaks to have those same kind of effects on them, so I put those over top of the adjustment layer. And that's pretty much it. Let me see. Yeah, light leak at the end. And then to run it out, again, I just overlaid the pose sign here with a lighten blend mode. My two favorite modes are lighten and screen. You can get funky with some of these other ones as well. I use them all. Just play around with them, see what they do. But I took that clip, added lightening to it, a lighten, and you can see it kind of comes over top here. And I have it move around, and then I have a sound, like a neon sign sound, and this little sound as it fades out, or dips out. Cool little ending, cap it all off, tie it back to the beginning with the pose sign. And that is my edit timeline and the color and effects and different things I use to edit this video for Dizzy Wright. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. You most likely did if you're watching this tutorial, because that means you want to know how I edited it, how I colored and did all those things. So appreciate you guys for purchasing this product, joining along, trying to better your skills and better understand how to edit, color, and do those things. I appreciate you guys so much, and I appreciate you guys who follow my work and always are nice and leaving compliments and all that good jazzy stuff. So again, hopefully this helped a lot of you guys, and will give you guys ideas for the future of how to edit, color, and do your own music video timelines and stuff like that. Appreciate you guys. Keep working hard, keep creating every day, don't stop. The only way to get better is if you keep working. So have a good one, guys. Peace.